Welcome back to another episode of the Aim Show. Today we are going to be talking about finding your purpose and then pursuing it relentlessly, even in business, even in faith, even in different parts of our lives. So let's just get started. I've been thinking about this a lot lately and what it means to find purpose, not just like going for the journey, but like practically in your business, in your faith, in your life. And I'll be real, I'm still figuring all this out too. But this episode is not from me preaching to you. It's from the grind, from the climb that I'm also pursuing as well at the same time you are. So the first section, I guess, is the pain in wandering through life rather than having a clear purpose. I think that a lot of people, including myself, have felt like they've wandered but ended up going nowhere. And that was me for a really long time. Like you're just wandering through different things, just ticking off boxes, but never really had a clear purpose or goal to get to the place that you might want to get to. It's like driving a ship without a captain. You don't know where the end destination is. So it's kind of, you're kind of all over the place all the time. I think that there's a lot of times where this comes into play, especially in work, which is like purposeless work. So you just do work without a clear purpose in mind. And I think that is a very, very dangerous thing to do because then you can go all over the place. You have to have an end goal. You have to have a destination that you want to get to because then you're just going to be swirling around and going to who knows where, right? And maybe you're checking all the boxes of doing the things that you want to complete, but you still feel empty inside because you don't have that clear vision or clear purpose that you want to achieve maybe 5, 10 years, or even, I don't even know, like a month from now. But you can't do that because you don't have that purpose connected to your work. So people chase money, they chase followers, they chase validation instead of alignment with their purpose. And I think that this is a big flaw in the day and age that we live in. And I think it's an extremely important thing that we need to do. And being able to understand that we have to change our focus from materialistic desires and things like money, like cars, like relationships, and focus and look up to God, look up to Jesus, and understand that it doesn't matter if we have millions of dollars. It doesn't matter if we have millions of followers. If we're not aligned with the purpose that we have been given to us, then it doesn't really matter. A Bible verse that really connects to this is Proverbs 29:18, where there is no vision, the people will perish. I don't think I could put it any better. Nietzsche said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow." And now that's another one that I don't think I can put in a better way. Building without vision is going to lead to exhaustion, and building without a goal in mind is going to lead to utter chaos, and you're never going to get to the destination or the end goal that you want to reach. And you have to understand that this is a part of the journey that everyone goes through. There's been many, many times in my life, and there's not a single one that I can point to, where I didn't have a clear purpose in mind. Maybe the purpose was just to make money, for example. Maybe the purpose was just to make myself look good, even if that hurt others. And being able to look back at those things and understand that if you're not aligned, if you're not building with a vision, it's always going to lead to exhaustion. It might hurt others. It might lead to a pointless decision that could have wrecked or destroyed a part of your life that could have been super impactful. So you have to be super careful about these different things. I think there was a time when I started my first or second business where I was working relatively hard. Back in the day, it wasn't comparative to now, it's not that hard, but I was working relatively hard, but I was grinding and I felt very empty. I was working very hard and I felt very empty. I never really could pinpoint what it was. But now looking back at it today or this week, coming up with this episode and coming up with different ideas to talk about was I realized that I didn't have a purpose. I didn't have a goal in mind. Like I would see people online. This was like the first time I had like the external success, like view of success. Like, oh wow, it's actually doable. Like people actually get successful and it's actually something that I can do. And I didn't really have anything like a goal. Like I was just like, I just want to get rich. That's literally the only thing that I thought of, is like, how can I get as much money as possible in the shortest amount of time? And now that's not a bad thing, but I think that it's important to have a purpose behind what you're doing and why you're doing it. Because if you just, like, genuinely, I think anyone can make money, whether that's through a job, through business, through private equity, through real estate, through working a 9 to 5. It doesn't matter. Like, money is going to be necessary in this world, but it's really, what are you making money with? What is your purpose behind making the money? And why do you even want the money in the first place? Like, if you can't answer the simple questions about money, then before you start working for it and before you start working and putting your labor in for something, take a step back and understand what money actually truly is. And then when I started reading books like Think and Grow Rich and books like The Millionaire Next Door or The Millionaire Fast Lane, and there's many books out there that you can read, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, that just open your eyes to, whoa, there's a whole another way, another perspective that you can look at money. And having a purpose behind why you want to get money is extremely important. Now, there's millions of different ways to get money, and everyone's going to have a different way to want you to get money. And there's going to be a lot of people who want you to buy their course so that you can make money. Now, anything works if you put your mind to it and you stay consistent to it. If you're in a relatively good niche, I think it's probably pretty hard to make money in newspapers right now. But I mean, I'm sure someone could figure out something to do. How do you know something is your purpose, and how can you just like understand that it's actually your purpose, not like just like a trend or a hype that you might have come across, that you actually know it's your purpose? I think the first test is, would you do it? Would you do the thing that you're doing if no one applauded you for doing that thing? If no one clapped for you to do that thing? Like, the first thing that comes to mind for me is, would someone clap for you if you were sitting on your couch watching Instagram Reels? Or would someone clap and be proud of you if you were listening to music that might not align with who you are? Or would someone clap and celebrate your choices of what food you're eating or what movies you're watching or how much time you spend watching movies? Like, would they be happy? Would they be clapping at you and applauding you to continue going on, even if they're not? Would you still be doing that? That's a really, really good test. The second test is, does it energize you even when it's hard? I think oftentimes a lot of people are like, this is so hard, I'm done. Like, a lot of people at work don't enjoy their job, one. So they get burnt out. Now, I think burnout is just a misalignment of what you're doing. And understanding that if your work doesn't energize you even when it's hard, I think you're probably doing the wrong thing. Now, there's going to be times when your life where you have to do what's necessary to get what you need in life. But if your long-term vision and what you're doing now does not align and you do not feel energized every single day to do that thing that you wake up to do, then you probably should switch ships and choose something else, choose something different. Because dopamine is released when you do something hard, and then you get rewarded for doing that hard thing. But if it doesn't energize you even when you're hard, it's going to be super hard to complete the tasks and get through the hard parts of life. Now, life is always going to throw curveballs at you. Life is always going to be difficult, but being able to have the energy to withstand, go through, stay strong through that difficulty really showcases, one, that you're probably on the right alignment with your purpose, but two, it shows that you have discipline to go through the hard times, even if it's hard. I guess, like, purpose starts small. Like, something that I love doing every single morning is either writing stuff down or putting it in a voice note. Like, you can even literally just have a conversation. You can literally talk about something that's on your mind. And I think that having that conversation can open up what your actual purpose is in this life. A Bible verse that connects to this very nicely is Ephesians 2:10, and it says, "For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works." I think that beautifully puts it. Like, is your purpose aligned with what God has for you? Pray on it and understand that if you don't feel energized, if you wouldn't do it if no one clapped, and you wouldn't be happy with yourself when you were 90 for doing that thing, then you probably shouldn't be doing it. And can you serve others beyond making money is the final test. Is, can I serve other people without just making money? Like, can I help someone by doing this? I think that's one of the beautiful things about the coaching industry, which has had such a bad rap because people are like, oh, it's scammy and stuff. But the number one thing, in my opinion, is, can I serve someone to reach an end result beyond just making money for myself? Like, can I provide a service? Can I provide a relationship advice? Or can I provide learning an instrument that provides so much value that goes beyond the monetary figure that you return and receive? Like, obviously it's okay to make money with that, but being able to teach others, being able to serve others just beyond making money, I think is extremely beautiful. And I think it's extremely important to just keep serving, even if it's beyond making a physical or monetary gain. That's not as important as serving, and just keep putting yourself out there and serving. And in return, you get rewarded for your actions and you get rewarded for your deeds. I really believe that. Now, I think I want to kind of talk about procrastination, which was the last episode, but I think it's extremely important and it connects to your purpose very, very deeply. So the enemy calls procrastination. So how would I put this? Even when you know your purpose, you can still sabotage yourself every single day. Like, you can have doubt, you can have misalignment, you can have lack of self-trust because you've broken your self-trust so many times. You can have the opinion of others belittling you so that you don't do the thing that you could have done. Or you can have your parents, you can have your friends, you can have even your internal dialogue. There's so many different things that can make you procrastinate. And I covered that in the last episode. So if you want to have the procrastination episode and how I deal with it and what I learned, then the last episode is exactly for you. But being able to understand that you still deal with procrastination, and that's not unusual. I think a lot of people deal with procrastination, including myself. And it's not like an unusual thing to deal with. Like, everyone has doubt. Everyone has procrastination. And everyone has times where they're like, oh, I should have done that thing, but I just didn't really do it. Procrastination usually isn't being lazy. It's having fear. It's having fear of judgment, having fear of failure, having fear of success. And I talked about this last episode, but I think perfectionism and overthinking about your goals, about your purpose, and second guessing things are silent killers. In James 4:17, it says, if anyone knows the good works they ought to do and doesn't do it, it is a sin for them. You're not lazy, you're scared. But God has already given you the strength to complete the tasks that are in front of you. And he wouldn't give you a challenge harder than what you can achieve. Now, it might be extremely difficult. Maybe you are dealing with the struggle of procrastination, but God tests you with difficult things to stay focused so that you don't procrastinate. Or maybe you asked God for strength, but he gives you a difficult situation to strengthen yourself in that. It might not be as clear-cut or as simple as you would like it, but I promise God has already given you the strength and it lies within you. And He will never give you a challenge that is harder than you can accomplish. Now, I think action is the antidote to procrastination. I don't think that you need more clarity on what you need to do. Now, some people do. And if you do, then you need to pray to God. You need to take a step back. But a lot of people need more courage to take the first step. I think clarity often comes after movement and starting to move and starting to do the work that's necessary to get to the place that you want to get to. And I think that daily consistent action shows you that you can do more, shows you that you can do more than any person can show you, because showcasing to yourself that you can do the action is better than anything that any mentor, any teacher, literally anyone can do, because you're actually doing the work and you're actually showcasing to yourself that you can do it. I think something super simple, like a simple tip, is record a video, DM someone, write for 10 minutes. Just start super, super easy. Make it like super stupid to say no to the thing that you can start, like that action that you want to start, and just start with that. So like, for example, you can be like, okay, I'm going to start with filming a 60-second video showcasing or talking to something or sharing some perspective. Or you could be like, okay, I'm going to actually take 60 seconds right now to formulate a good DM for a future client, or formulating a good DM to connect with that person that I've been meaning to connect with for the past year that I've never really actually reached out to. Or you can write for 5 minutes and just dump your ideas, or talk for 5 minutes and just dump your ideas. There's so many different things, and there's so many different technologies that you can use to your advantage to start getting the ball moving and start taking action. I think a quote that I love remembering is, discipline is remembering what you want. And I think that if you stop idolizing motivation and you start understanding that every single day, if you consistently improve and then consistently show up to try to do better on a day-to-day basis, you'll get a lot further than trying to idolize when you feel like doing something and when you want to do something to get to the place you want to get to. Now, I think purpose and having purpose in business is extremely important. And how can this actually apply to our businesses, and how can having purpose apply to our businesses? I think that having alignment is extremely important. And when I mean alignment, I don't mean just funnels or having business tactics, but I mean having a purpose will help you attract better clients as a whole, because they'll be sold into your purpose and your vision and your values, rather than just a hollow, empty thing that you're asking that you complete the task that they ask you. They'll be bought into you as a person, and they'll be bought into your purpose as a person. And that can build lots of momentum. I think that over time, I've had multiple businesses, but the one that I currently run, which I just started a little while ago, is being able to showcase and align my mission with what I help and who I help. Now, at the end, one of the goals with this podcast is to create a community of people who can support one another, and understanding that if I can showcase this, that I'm no better than you, and that we're walking through this life and this journey together, I think that it's extremely beautiful. And I think that if we can keep ourselves responsible and keep ourselves accountable in the future, this can bring so much benefit to a lot of people that might not have that community and that support system that they need. Another amazing Bible verse that can connect to this beautifully is Colossians 3 verses 23. It says, "Whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men." Building something successful that you secretly resent is a recipe for disaster. Like, if you're trying to build something, but you secretly don't like what you're doing, then why are you actually doing it? Like, maybe that's just me, but it doesn't make sense in my opinion. It's bigger than you. And it's not just about you. And I think a lot of people have been wrestling this forever. Marcus Aurelius, he was born, I don't even know, a really long time ago. And he said, waste no time about arguing what a good man should be one. Now, that really ties into everything that we're saying. Instead of talking about what you want to do, talking about who you should become, just become the person by showcasing the steps, taking the action necessary to get to the destination you want to get to. I think that there's another concept, which is the ikigai, which is a Japanese concept of finding your purpose. And I think that, or the finding your reason for being on this earth, I think it's extremely important. I think being able to find different aspects of your life, what you're good at, what you can be paid for, what your passions are, and kind of finding the intersection of all these different things, you can really distill what God has given you as your purpose and has your mission to showcase to this world, and what you can do and what you can provide and serve as a follower of Christ and as a person who can lead the next generation of people. I know that I'm talking to people the same age or similar age as me, and we have to understand that the people who we interact with, we're the next generation. We're the next adults. When we grow up, we're going to be the next leaders. And being able to think critically, even today, is extremely rare. And being able to start taking action, being responsible, and staying consistent will help with that. I think another reminder that you have to remember is you're not behind. You're being built every day. If you're listening to this right now and you feel like you're way behind, let me tell you something. Normalize that the season that you're in might not look like success or might not look like everyone else's season, but you have to remember that you're on your own journey to success and to what you want to get to. You're never going to be late. Now, there's going to be certain opportunities that you might be late for, but you're on time for your own calling. A Bible verse that really connects to this is Ecclesiastes 3 verses 1, and it says, there's a time for everything. Give hope even when it feels like nothing is working, because you're being developed in the person necessary to get to the place that you want to get to. You're being hidden so that you can be sharpened. Sometimes people feel like they're being hidden, or they're feeling like they're being trapped inside. But maybe that is so that you can have a training period in your life so that you can get to the new destination. In a lot of movies, there's the training arc, like where you start here, you go in a plateau, you train a long time, and then you become successful. And I think a lot of life is like that. You start at one place, you work super hard, you might lose everything, hit rock bottom, then you come and you start training, and then it compounds, and then you shoot up to success. And I think it's super important to just stay consistent and stay in the game long enough. You don't lose if you don't quit. And if you consistently show up and consistently ask questions, eventually you'll find something. Just don't waste your gift. Don't waste the gift of life. And don't wait to be perfect to start. Just don't. I'm always going to be understanding and always going to be reiterating, always going to be trying to search for different aspects and different ways to grow. And if you're ever interested, just shoot me a DM. But I appreciate each and every one of you for listening to this shorter episode. I think it's only maybe 20 something minutes. But I hope everyone is having an amazing day. Know that I'm rooting for you. And God bless you. And I'll see you next week.